Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Learn English with Photos. My name is Jeffrey Hill and I'm going to be using some photos I've taken to help you improve your English vocabulary and practice your speaking skills. In this lesson, I'll show you some photos of different high street shops and try to explain the plays on words and references which are used in their names. We'll also look at some of the vocabulary for different shops and the things they sell. And in the final part of the lesson, you'll have the opportunity to answer some questions about shops and shopping. Let's start with the good old traditional British fish and chip shop. This one is called Codfather's. The name is meant to make you think of the film The Godfather, but the G has been replaced by a C because cod is a type of fish often sold in fish and chip shops. Cut Above is a unisex hair salon, in other words a hairdresser's for men and women. If someone or something is described as a cut above the rest, they're better in some way. So you could say, for example, Spain were a cut above the other teams in the tournament. And of course a cut is what the hairdresser gives you above or on your head. Here's a rusty old haircutter's sign which also plays on the word cut. If someone or something gives you a cutting edge, they give you an advantage over your competitors. And if you're at the cutting edge of a particular field, you're involved in its most important or exciting developments, though judging from the state of the sign, that's not likely to be the case here. Note that there's a punctuation error. Men's should have an apostrophe before the S. The name of this sandwich bar features a homophone. Homophones are words with different meanings which are pronounced in the same way, but are spelt differently. Here the homophones are thyme, T-H-Y-M-E, which is a type of herb used in cooking, and time, T-I-M-E, which is the spelling you would normally expect in the expression break time. Flirtations is a florist's or flower shop. Here the usual spelling of the word flirtation, which begins with F-L-I-R, has been changed to F-L-E-U-R because fleur is the French word for flower. This technique of changing the spelling of a company name or product to make it more memorable is often used in marketing. Car servicing company QuickFit, spelt K-W-I-K, is a good example. Sole trader, one word, is a shoe shop. A sole trader, two words, is a person who owns their own business and does not have a partner or any shareholders. Here there's a play on the word sole, which is the bottom of a shoe or foot. By the way, sole is a homograph, a word that has the same spelling as another one, but differs in meaning. Ironed Out is a dry cleaning and ironing service. You iron your clothes to remove the creases and make them look nice. And to do that you use an iron, an electrical device with a flat metal base. However, if you iron out problems or difficulties, you resolve them and bring them to an end. So the shop name plays on this metaphorical meaning. Screw It is a hardware store which sells tools and equipment for the home and garden. Now, to screw is a verb meaning to fix something somewhere using a screw and a screwdriver. However, screw it is a not very polite expression of abandon, used to show that you are annoyed or frustrated. For example, screw it, I'm not waiting any longer. Hairdressers seem to be the most creative lot when it comes to finding names. Or perhaps it's just because there are a lot of hair salons. Anyway, this one's called Scissor Sister, an obvious reference to the American pop group Scissor Sisters. Scissors are what the hairdresser uses to cut your hair. I wonder what the old couple are looking at. Bovine is a Glasgow restaurant specializing in meats and wines. Bovine without the apostrophe is an adjective which means relating to cattle. So that's the meat reference. And a vine is a plant which produces grapes, which are used to make wine. Clever name, don't you think? Blooming Lovely is another florist's. The name plays on the word blooming. When a plant or tree blooms, it produces flowers. And blooming is an informal intensifier which is used for emphasis or to express annoyance. For example, I can't see a blooming thing through all this rain. Headcase is yet another hair salon. A headcase is a person who has mental or emotional problems, in other words, a crazy person. For example, her brother's a real headcase. And of course the head is where your hair is, well, most of it anyway. In any case, it doesn't seem a very appropriate name for a business, even if it is a hairdresser's. Priceless is a discount shoe shop. The adjective priceless has two different meanings. One is to emphasize that something is worth a very large amount of money. For example, that Picasso is priceless. But it can also be used to mean extremely useful. Your advice has been priceless. So there are those ideas going on, and then there's the fact that the less in the logo is written in a different colour from price, which suggests that the price is less than in other shops. Soft Options is a shop which sells haberdashery. That's articles for sewing such as buttons, zips and thread, and soft furnishings such as curtains, blinds, bedding and cushions. The name plays on the word soft, which can also mean easy. A soft option is an easy choice, usually involving less work. You can always rely on him to choose the soft option. Creature Comforts is a pet shop in Honiton, Devon. Creature is another word for animal, so the name works on that basic level, but the expression creature comforts is also used to refer to the things that you need to feel comfortable in a place, such as food and modern equipment. Creature Comforts was also used as the title of a short animated film way back in 1989, so the name is not particularly original. Artifacts is an interior decoration shop in Bodmin, Cornwall. An artifact is a man-made ornament, tool or other object that has some historical or cultural interest. For example, the British Museum has an interesting collection of Stone Age artifacts. And people often use the word arty to describe someone who is interested in art. In case you were wondering, the letters EST, which you often see on the front of shops, are an abbreviation for established, which means the same as founded. The name of this hair salon is a play on March Hare, spelt H-A-R-E, a character most famous for appearing in the Tea Party scene in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. A hare is an animal like a rabbit, but larger and with long ears, long legs and a small tail. Mad as a March hare is a common British English phrase, both now and in Carroll's time. The sign on this Fudge shop in Wadebridge, North Cornwall, doesn't feature any plays on words, but it does contain some useful vocabulary, and there's an interesting story behind it. But first I should explain that fudge is a soft brown sweet that is made from butter, cream and sugar. My mouth is already beginning to water. Anyway, Granny Wobbly's Fudge Pantry opened in November 2007 and is run by Tim and Sally Flower. Granny Wobbly was Sally's granny or grandmother. When she was a child, her granny used to live up an uneven road, and all the cars used to bump up and down to her house with all the children in the back seat. So they gave her the name Granny Wobbly. Something that is wobbly moves unsteadily from side to side, like a wobbly chair or table. And a pantry is a small room or large cupboard in a house, usually near the kitchen, where food is kept. You often find the word pantry in names of food shops or cafes. Oh, and by the way, the fudge was delicious. Right, in this last part of the lesson, I'm going to ask you a few questions about shops and shopping. I suggest you pause the video when you give your answer, and try to make your answers as detailed as possible. Okay, here goes. Question 1. How many different words for shops do you know in English besides those mentioned in the video? Take a piece of paper and make a list. Question 2. Why do you think shops use plays on words or puns in their names? Question 3. How often do you go to the hairdressers? When did you last go? What did you have done? Question 4. What's your opinion of discount shops? Question 5. In the video, we hear about fish and chips. What other typical British foods can you think of? Question 6. Have you ever worked in a shop? If not, would you like to? Question 7. What qualities and skills do you need to run a small shop? Question 8. While you've been answering these questions, you've seen a few more examples of shop names featuring puns or references. Go back and see if you can explain them. Right, that's it. I hope you found this lesson useful. If so, look out for the next installment of Learn English with Photos.